Yo ho ho, bottle of rum. It's a show that never ends. Welcome back, my friends. The Underdog MLB Pick'em Show here on Mayo Media Net. Fastest show in MLB, absolutely freaking anywhere with your boy. Big Johnny Stud coming to you worldwide from Brooklyn, New York, as always. Coming out the chair as always. What else is new? Tasmanian Devil off the leash in midseason form, tweeting out at like 6:15. The sheets are up. Does anybody care? Check me out on Twitter at John Legeza. Streamlined to all my other stuff. It is a lot. It takes a very special person. And I've been called worse. All right, enough of that. More of this. The one-man band doing the thing. Death taxes. Sun rising in the east, setting in the west. Bears making dookie in the woods. Big man up before the crack of dawn to bring you this bad boy. All right, let's do it. Yesterday, missed by the hook. Oh, man. It was the Suarez one, I thought. We miss on. We got jobbed on a bad call. He ends up going over. Crawford comes out, has no walks through three. I don't even know if he had like a 3-ball count. He was locked in. Walked a guy in the fourth. Falls behind 2-0 to the first hitter in the fifth. Next guy he walked, and it wasn't even close. So sometimes you lose by the hook, but I got a nice 2-pack today. I've been staring at this stuff all day. Full slate, getting ready to gear up. Then, as promised the other day, whenever we do have a full slate and it starts late, there are daily specials available that I love. I know we have a lot of golf bettors out in the audience. And the reason I say that, right, it reminds me of that kind of card, right? It's a higher play, right? You're playing for the one team to score the most runs. I was going on and on about it today on the stack and on the social streets. I think they may have taken it down. But they also have the high-scoring game, and I got something for that too. All right, without any further ado, let's get into the first prop. I picked a pack of pick'em props. It's the Redbirds, those Cardinals, Steven Matz on the bump, going into the desert to face the Diamondbacks and Brandon Pfaadt. Sometimes I just think people see surface stats and kind of chase them, which will really get you in trouble. But it also opens up edge for sneaky bettors like us, hopefully. Going back to 2023, Steven Matz, 115 innings, has a 3.67 ERA, which is pretty good. But, right? All the indicators are at least a half a run worse. And this year he's gotten off to a rough start. But you're not getting really any kind of strikeout stuff at all, right? No swings and misses, too many balls, not enough whiffs. Doesn't get ahead, doesn't induce chases, doesn't win in the zone, right? That whole kind of combination. He does keep it down, and that's really the claim to fame. But I think we're going to have his number in the Diamondbacks, led by Brandon Pfaadt. Love this young guy. He's also kind of interesting, right? I mentioned the composite stats, people chasing it. I think a lot of people are looking back at last year, and you see the 106 2/3 in his career, 5.65 ERA, a 1.4 WHIP, 8.55 OPS. I mean, that is pretty rotten. But you kind of have to know the story. Hopefully, you need the nuance and the context that you get when you roll with us. Promo code is MMN when you sign up. First deposit match up to $100 if it's free. If it's for me, I come from nothing, so I mean it. Pfaadt was kind of a highly touted prospect. Big anticipation, big expectations. Well, like breaking news. MLB is incredibly hard. It's a really hard team. So he came up and he struggled. And what happens with everything in life, right? The public just kind of wholly discards the new thing that wasn't great immediately. He got sent down, which was probably the right thing. They worked on some stuff. He came back up and was awesome. And really at the center of that was the command. There's your first Easter egg. It's coming up soon. So even after that demotion, right, that's what I was getting at. If you're looking at the entire set, it's going to get you in trouble because we have legitimate breaks in the data set with, tangible reasons to back the new stuff. So I think the public is a little slow on him. And I mentioned he came out of the box looking really good, which is the other thing that we like to see, right? Not to overreact to the small sample of 2024, but we're looking for X, right? We wanted to see if the command would continue, and we'd see the pitcher in Brandon Pfaadt that we got more during the playoffs, who was excellent, right? Which, again, are generally playoff stats not reflected in anybody's spreadsheet. But for him, those are, one, the highest leverage innings possible. But also at a young age is just critical in terms of growth, right? 106 innings, right? Your 115th inning is really, really important. But if you go back to the break in a sub 5% walk, and even if you look at the whole set, including the bad stuff, sub 34% ball, we always like to look at ball rate over walk rate. I think it's a little more predictive, and the input is a little bit more indicative, of the actual walk itself, right? I'm always an input guy. Let me pop the hood. You can't just show me the results. It's just not enough. We learn, especially in baseball, so much nuance and change, and like I said, breaks and stories, data points, splits, stuff like that. If you're into all the extra nerdy stuff, again, check me out on Twitter. Pin tweet will take you to all that. Just everything. It's crazy. Substack bestseller. Oh yeah, let's go. So you got to really like Fat and the trajectory he was on. And like I said, this year he comes out, we got all the goodness. 27% strikeout rate, only 2% walk, 25 came at his BB, 16 swinging strike, 29% ball, 39 chase, 79 in-zone contact rate. So winning and getting up, getting ahead, making you chase his garbage, then he can win in the zone and put you away. And he doesn't throw any balls. He's an absolute strike machine. So I was a little bit surprised to see, his walk prop at 1.5 at the price that it was. If this continues, thought may be one of these, George Kirby types. So I mentioned a 5% walk rate. Also, I wanted to mention that command was always kind of part of the gig. One note I had missed: 330 career innings in the minor leagues, 5% walk rate. Right, and then like I said, he came up afterwards, 5% walk rate. This year, a little better than 5% walk rate. You can't really expect 2 or 3, but that's what this guy is. So we're going to go Brandon Pfaadt first play. 1.5 walks allowed lower. Yes, I know we missed this one yesterday, but can't let us beat us up. You're actually getting a nice price because I've seen this one move in the markets. And we actually have some love on the other side also. Again, data for baseball, I think splits are really important. And this one is just, screaming. It's all us. Hopefully I didn't just put like the total horns on that one. Cardinals offense just has not gotten up off the mat yet. They really haven't woken up at all. Sorry, just 1 second. I got stuck on something there. My mouse wheel got stuck. I got it. Cardinals on the season, just a super rough go. 219 batting average as a team, sub 300 OPS, sub 650 OPS. I'm sorry, sub 300 OBP. Just awful. Sorry, I found myself in spreadsheet hell for a second. We're back on track. 24% K rate. It's sub 8% walks. I'm right off the bat. We love that. Bottom 3 in walk rate in the league. They're swinging and missing too much. They're chasing. The contact rate is right around average, but that alone is not enough, I should say. But again, if you're into the handy-dandy spreadsheets, that seem to be super popular. Again, I can't, we can't promise picks, but sometimes we can promise we'll save you some time, which is worth money. Cardinals, maybe the worst right-hand hitting team in the major leagues right now, in particular that disciplinary rate. 25% K, which is worse than average, but the underpinning stuff is pretty bad. Right, 13 swing strike, bottom 5 chase rate also. Also dead last in walk rate to righties. So we have a pitcher not walking anybody and a team that is dead last in earning walks to righties. So give us Brandon Pfaadt. That's the first leg, 1.5 walks lower. Before we dive into the second pick, when you sign up to Underdog, there are some rules and regulations, unfortunately, in this life. You got to be 18, present in a legal state, and all that good stuff. There are some terms that do apply. And remember, if you have any kind of trouble or concern with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org. You can literally reach out to me. I really care. I actually do. I think a few things separate me from the pack. The tout world of all these fakes and everything. I actually do care. I actually think I have the skill set to do so because, again, coming from nothing, you don't go right to the top. You fall down, and, I got the scars to prove it. Holler if you hear me, rate, review, and subscribe. That stuff matters more than it should. Using the code MMN when you sign up to Underdog for that first deposit match. I think the $100 should be enough. Jump along with us. Look, we had 2 of the last 4 nights. So again, I usually preach, don't get obsessed with small samples in anything, in the output of the gambling results or in the baseball stats we're looking at in the first place. Go into demo mode. Play on paper for a week, track your progress, see what works, see what didn't. You're probably going to learn a thing or two, get better at your process, and you'll be learning and saving at the same time. And a lot of times what happens is if you get to the end of that week or two and you actually haven't made money, look, that's a win, right? While you're getting the methodology down. I know everybody just wants to just go. I get it with DTF, everybody. I know. It's a instant gratification world, but that kind of stuff is one of those, the lion story, right? Real quick, for my youngsters out there. Cool story I heard. My very first day on the job as a union electrician in New York City. Young lion, old lion, top of a mountain, looking down at a bunch of sheep. Young lion looks at the old lion and says, yo, if we run down there, we could snatch one of those sheep. Lion looks back and says, yeah, but if we sneak down, we can get them all. So, there you go. Incoming message. Boom. Cartoon fingers and cartoon bells matter more than you should. Let's do the second half of this one. I'll get you out of here to enjoy the weekend, hopefully with some pay in a pocket see at the cashier window. Love the Underdog app, man. Really easy to use. They're really broadening the menu. I cross my fingers every day they'll get into under hitter strikeouts, but maybe. I don't know who's up there. OPMG, Gravy Spear, Gravy Shield. Hope you have a question, my man. Front of the line for you, as always. All right. Second play. Let's get into the other half of it. When all else fails, look to strike out Mariners. Okay, that's where we're going with the other one. I mean, what's going on with Seattle in the offense is it's like getting beyond absurd. We got Jordan Wicks and the Baby Bears on the bump on the road in the Pacific Northwest against Bryce Miller and the M's. We're going to be looking at the pitcher prop on the Wicks side. I do tend to like Miller. He's off to a decent start, and I think he's going to be excellent. But hard to back Seattle because they don't hit, and that's what we're going to be looking at right now. Jordan Wicks on the bump. 43 in the third in a career, 4.36 ERA, 1.36 whip, 740 OPS. I always liked him a bit more than that. Again, remember, MLB, very hard. I feel like I see that, and it almost feels like a lot of people don't kind of realize that. Like, it's really hard. And these guys, a lot of them are very young, right? So Wicks is only 24, so he was 23. Had only pitched 33 innings in AAA. And came up and just wasn't bad. 4.4 ERA, 1.27. That was last season, but the K rate was down. So I think that's what we expect. But this year it's been really good. He's got multiple swing and miss pitches. I think he's got really good stuff. And this is one of the times that, like, I am looking, not saying just looking at the small set, but like we knew it was there. He came out and then we got it. We haven't seen a ton of distance, but we're working up to it because the pitch count has been there. We're going to need him to throw strikes. But I think the K stuff is certainly there. Check it out. This season, 30% strikeout rate, 21% K minus BB, all validated underneath the hood. 17% swing and strike, 33 in a third whiff, well above average chase and above average in zone contact. So all the pieces there. I had some notes. I think it was the fastball. Let me just double check. And again, there's another pitcher, right? We want to look at the track record. 193 career innings in the minors, 27% K, 20 K minus BB, right? Exactly what we just got now, right? So it's not to say, oh, we got this for this little bit. That's kind of what we were expecting, right? And I call it trajectory. Maybe I need a better name for it. Players come up. There's crazy expectations. They're not any good. We don't wait long enough to discard them. They get sent down. They change something. They come back. They're awesome. But they come back with these bad stats because the majority of the small sample was shite. It's that simple, right? So if you know where to split it and run your continuation from there, you're really not too shocked at what we got from Wicks. And again, I think that's really what we're going to get a ton of. I'm not even sure it's going to matter. Let's take a look at those M's I was alluding to before. It is an absolute S show. 2,017 batting average from the Mariners, 278 OBP, a 602 OPS. Those are all like bottom five. Yikes. Oh my gosh. And only 4 steals as a team. Like if you're not going to get on it, you're not going to hit. You had better run when you get on. It's crazy. 29% K rate as a team, sub 8% walk, 13 swing and strike, 79 in zone contact. And you think like, wow, those are all bottom 3 or worse. The K rate might be dead last. And you wonder, like, could it get any worse? Yes, it can, of course. Nuance in the context when you roll with us, Mail Media Net coming at you. Incoming. Got to have those split stats, man. The split data for the Mariners is an absolute nightmare. All those numbers drop against righties on the season. Dead last in average, 203. Dead last in OBP, 267. OPS, 31% strikeout rate to 7% walk. The swing and strike rate jumps up near 14. In-zone contact rate jumps down near 78. They have a 290 expected WOBA against righties. Just to give you an idea, you figure like 315 is average, which would imply an average amount of runs. Let's call it 4.5, 4.75. Think about the scale there. Gosh, when you're down to 290, this is like a 3-run team. So again, I like Miller on the betting side, I do really like Miller. We're not really trying to trash the ends, but right now the offense has to get going. And something we've seen through our years and the different shows, even back here on Mayo Media Net, right? Stabilization in the disciplinary metrics happens kind of fast. I've also found it's contagious on teams. They kind of maybe get depleted a little bit before you know it. You're chasing, swinging, you're missing. Everyone is swinging, you're missing. It's just like everyone is moping around. So that's what's going on. Second leg coming at ya. Right there, it is Jordan Wicks, 5.5 strikeouts. Higher. Pairing that bad boy with the Brandon Pfaadt, 1.5 walks allowed, lower. Wicks had the little spicy pepper. It's a spicy meatball. So that'll get us up with the 2-legger up to plus 180. Gotta love it. Feeling really strong about both of these as the year progresses. And we get more data, things that stabilize again, right? If you notice, I like the disciplinary stuff this early in the year for the stabilization rates. And we're doing pretty well. We need a little more info because at this point, pitch counts and stuff are still a little bit wonky. I like when we really start getting to the unknowns, right? So there's your 2-pack. Got a question. OPMG, my boy, VIP. Johnny, what market on the board today do you feel you have a great edge on and why? Well, I've been talking the last few days about the one we always, that I always feel pretty strongly about. The team to score the highest, right? Highest amount of runs for a single team. Some books carry daily specials. And because I've already been modeling employee team totals, that's part of the package. Pin tweet, Twitter, whatever. I didn't have to adjust what I was doing to a new market. The new market kind of came to me. And if you want to laugh, this is God's honest truth. I was on VSiN this morning with Gil Alexander on the flagship show. And I gave out one of those on the way out. Was the Reds were at 13-1. They're my highest model team, right? I do implied team totals. Everything is formatted for percentile, but you also see the raw numbers. And you're not to take them literally. Model numbers are not to be taken literally, but they are on a scale. And if you get one team a half a run ahead of the field, and then they're 13-1, then you got to love that. They did leave up, though, the highest scoring game, right? So now you're combining both teams. And I had the favorite, which might not be the worst, right? It might not be the worst thing. Highest scoring game would be Texas and Houston plus 800. I got a little bit of that. But the other one I had was actually the San Francisco game. I had San Francisco and Tampa modeled up pretty high, but also, right, we got to be careful when we were looking for strength of both teams. So, like, even though I had Cincinnati as the number 1 team, they're playing the White Sox, who are bad against lefties. If Abbott finds his groove, they're not going to have a chance against Andrew Abbott. And even if the Reds get there like 8 or 9, that may end there, right? We're looking for 8 plus 8, 9 plus 9. Jeff L. Grab the spear, grab the shield. Mi gente, welcome aboard. Thank you guys for supporting the show. If you do want this around when the weather gets warm, that's what we're going to have to do. Pressing bells, pressing fingers, signing up to Underdog, and using the code MMN. For anybody jumping in the show, I see the view numbers always going in and out. I'm trying to scroll back and forth to the picks. We have a pick a problem. It's a plus 182 legger. Jordan Wicks, 5.5 strikeouts. Higher, trying to get at those Mariners that have just been waving at everything. And then Brandon Pfaadt in his, he's always had great control against the Cardinals, who have really, really struggled. So to that question, I always like F5. And, Patty said let the betting stuff rip too. Underdog is always so cool. So baseball is really hard to bet, right? One of the things that makes it especially hard to bet are bullpens. These are people, and they have to be managed. So there's health, and there's role, and there's timing and attitude. And then if you're sharp, if you're healthy, in the smallest set possible, like throwing like 5 pitches. The way, I should say the fluidity, right, is an inherent variance. That's just insane. Why even bother? Let me break it down really quick before we get out of here. We'll do it really quick. Why I like F5s over full games. And why, if you want to, I think if you're playing props, you should be playing on Underdog. The way that they allow you to pair and take advantage, if you compare it to the price in the regular market, you can take advantage, get plus EV. They also let you play for small, which is great if you're getting free cash. If you're going into the general markets, betting MLs, full game MLs, is very, very difficult. And unless you want more hooting and hollering and emotional baggage than I want, I would not bother. Here's why. Let's start with the underdogs. One, generally, you're looking a bad team. I should start with whenever you bet on baseball, it's basically the starting pitcher. So if you have an inkling that the underdog is going to win, you probably assume you have some kind of pitching edge or at least a good pitcher on the bump. Starting pitchers assumed to go 5. Plus money through 5 innings. Pretty standard stuff. What's really interesting is the run line part. You get the half run, so that's F5RL plus half a run. I know it's a mouthful, but worth it knowing. So you start in the money in a race to 15 outs, and you can cash that bad boy in a tie. Just like I have Colorado printed tonight. I know. It's Feltner and Gaussman. The model had Colorado nose to nose through 5, and it was plus 120 with the free run. Anything can happen in 5 innings. Absolutely anything. So I'm going with the numbers. I went with the price. But another one, right, where it could be 001122 we cash. That's beautiful. So you have a fair money line side, which also, if you're tied after 5 as an underdog, maybe you're in trouble, right? You wanted to get ahead with your pitching edge. And on the favorite side, if you pay juice and you're tied for 5, you want your money back, which is what happens. Which is what happens in F5 betting. Think about that. If you bet juice on a baseball team, it's absolutely because you thought you had either a pitching edge or you thought you were going to score. Guess what? Whatever the case is, either you didn't score, it's tied low, or you did score and the other team scored off your pitcher and you're probably upset, right? 3-3, 4-4, 5-5 through 5. Yeah, you paid minus 170. You feel stupid right now. You feel stupid, except at 5, you get your money back. A lot of times you could just bet that live at a better number. It's really one of the undersung parts of the betting world for MLB. I just think not enough people get into it. There's so many games happen. It moves so fast. It really takes a very special maniac to be on this stuff. And then there's the favorite run line, which again is very, very difficult. It really is. Having to be ahead a run after 5, the books will try and tempt you with prices. It's really tough. I have found when I do the math, I generally will pay the little bit of juice to get out because, like I said, if you're tied after 5 and you paid juice, I want my eyes on the exit already. How could I not be on the exit? Anyway, let's get out of here. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. As always, we are bringing it hot and heavy every single Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend. One more look at the play. Sign up to Underdog. Use the code MMN, Mayo Media Net. Nuance and context pouring out your nose. Jordan Wicks, 5.5 strikeouts higher. Brandon Pfaadt, 1.5 walks allowed lower. That will do it. Thank you to everybody in the comments section. Participating really means a lot. Thank you for everybody jumping in and out of the show. That's been tailing and has signed up already. It means absolutely everything to us. So hit the cartoon finger, hit the cartoon bell. And then just remember one last thing. We see you Monday. When you work this hard, it feels a lot less like luck, yo, don't it? Damn right.